The story starts in a small village in the south of France, where Sempion and his wife Svetlana are camping close to a dump. Svetlana is giving birth to a child. So Sempion knows that it might happen that the Smith will come, the policeman, the man of law and order, and chase them away. So to make sure that everything is ready, he starts to hatch the horse. And indeed, at that moment, around the bend came a motorcycle. And there was the Schmidt, the keeper of law and order. And he got from his motorcycle and said, "You, move." Somebody said, "Yeah, but officer, you understand, my wife just gave birth." "I tell you, move." "Yes, officer, but a child is born anyway. I know there's, last time, move, now." Sempion wanted to explain about the second baby, but at that moment there was a cry inside the wagon. And the second baby was born. And Sempion said, "Look, there's a second baby." And he ran up the steps. And then he turned around to the Schmidt and he said, "Listen, once the old woman of our clan told me, remember, there are always two." And he went inside. But the Schmidt thought, yeah, that's another dirty trick from those gypsies. When I say go, you have to go. And then he took a stick and he slammed the back of the horse. And the horse went up and started to run and run and run and run and run and run and run. He panicked, he galloped. The dogs went after the wagon, and they ran, and they passed the wagon, and they passed the horse, and they ran in front of the horse, and they slowed down. They told the horse, slow down. And so the horse did, and stopped. Motorcycle. Schmidt said, "Oh, they stop again. What's going on now?" And he went to the door, opened the door, and he froze. On the bed, in the back of the wagon, sat Svetlana, her ice-cold eyes piercing in his eyes. In her hands, on her knees, lay a dead newborn boy. In a terrible, shaking, hobbling ride, the baby was born and fell on the floor and broke his neck. And a cold shiver went up through the spine of the Schmidt. And Sempion said, "Officer, you have done something very wrong." And he took the baby and he gave it in the arms of the officer. And he stepped off the wagon and he started to collect wood. And he made a little pile. He turned to the Schmidt and said, "After this, you go back to the office and you register that here today in this village at this time a boy was born by the name Joseph. Here today, the son of Svetlana and Sempion." And he stopped and he looked into the eyes of the Schmidt. Schmidt understood what was said with no words. And he put the baby on the front plank of the wagon, and he helped to collect wood as well. And a big pile of firewood was made. Sempion did not move, but he looked to the Schmidt, and he understood with no words. And he took the little baby, and trembling and shaking, he put the baby on top of the wood. Sempion took a match and lighted a fire. And the fire started to consume the little boy, who had hardly a life of a few seconds. And then he turned for the last time to the Schmidt and said, "Remember what the old lady once told me. Remember, there are always two." And he turned around and took the bridle of the horse, and the wagon rolled on, slowly, on and on, to nowhere, along Nowhere Lane. And the Schmidt took his motorcycle, and he drove back to the office, and there stood his friends and said, "You better go home." And he drove home. And there stood his wife in the doors, and she said, "It was an accident, it was an accident." And she wept and cried. And he ran into the sleeping room of his little newborn baby girl. And there she was, bleeding, dead. She had fallen out of the hands of her mother. And somewhere at a desert place on Nowhere Lane, a soft rain washed away the ashes of the wood and the boy who had never had a chance to live.